Hey there everyone, we're going to talk about lion's mane, which I've been using for 8 years, specifically for mood, cognition boost, and wait till the end of the video as you're going to learn specifically how to take it. The way I initially came across lion's mane was I was looking for a nootropic supplement that would boost productivity without having any negative side effects. And I really like the fact that with lion's mane mushroom, it's a naturally occurring nootropic, meaning it's not a synthetic nootropic. Some examples of those are the racetams, modafinil. I feel a little bit uncomfortable ingesting anything that's man-made. With natural nootropics, not that they're all safe, I definitely feel a lot more secure. And I like the fact that lion's mane mushroom had some really positive anecdotes out there as far as it really helping with mood, also helping with stress management, and also clearer thinking. And when I first started taking lion's mane, I felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders. I didn't feel as attached to the outcome, especially growing a business or starting a new career. You're always wondering what if it doesn't work. It's like with lion's mane, your foot is always on the gas, it's never on the brakes, because you understand that you just have to collect a lot of experiences, and really failure means learning. So that's the first major benefit. It's the fact that it does improve your baseline mood. You're suddenly waking up a little bit less stressed, a bit more happier. The second major benefit would be with respect to cognition. I noticed that with the continued use of lion's mane, what had happened was things that initially did not interest me previously started to interest me. So you have this curiosity that makes you really want to learn things in depth, but at the same time, this can be a little bit unproductive because it's not necessarily a nootropic which is going to help you with that tunnel vision that you need. You may be a little bit distracted, but I think like anyone who really wants to be a better conversationalist or be more articulate, lion's mane is going to really help you with that, because it's going to make you want to actually talk to people. It's going to make you challenge yourself to get uncomfortable, to ask challenging questions, and you're learning a lot faster. It helps with cognitions, but in some ways it's a little bit disappointing. Don't expect any sort of memory boost. That wasn't the experience that I personally had, and I also was expecting that it could to some extent help me to solve a challenging problem. It's more like a nootropic that with continued time using, you'll definitely notice it working. Like for me, when I stop using lion's mane, I can definitely tell. First of all, my baseline mood is lower, and secondly, I'm not as conversational with people. I just really don't think there's any point of talking to someone. This could make lion's mane a good nootropic for studying because of the fact like you will have interest in your material even if it's boring. The third major benefit would be with anti-anxiety. Most people seem to like ashwagandha, maybe L-theanine, but I would definitely encourage you to use some lion's mane. You may not notice as quickly as you would with something like L-theanine making you in a very calm, present state. Lion's mane, there's some pretty incredible stories out there. People have been able to get off of supplements that they were using for years because lion's mane replaced them for anti-anxiety. And I can see why this is happening, because with lion's mane, since you're less attached to whatever outcome you're pursuing, obviously you're going to feel a little bit less anxiety with. However, anxiety comes in a lot of different forms. I think lion's mane could be good for social anxiety, but also could be good for anxiety related to work stress. Some other benefits that may be less noticeable could be that it could protect against dementia. It could help to regulate blood sugar. It may speed recovery from nervous system injuries, and it can help with inflammation and potential risk of heart disease. What lion's mane is not a stimulant. Don't expect consuming lion's mane to energize you. I've seen it in some pre-workout products, but that's not necessarily for the stimulant boost. And this is one of the reasons why people sometimes say that lion's mane didn't work for them. It's just that they had the wrong expectation of it. And the other thing that lion's mane certainly is not is it is not a testosterone booster. If you're looking for a natural testosterone booster, I would recommend you look into something like Tonkat Ali, Tribulus terrestris, maybe ashwagandha some people enjoy. With lion's mane, it could unfortunately actually decrease your testosterone levels because of the mechanism of action in which it works involving DHT. However, I've not really found any difference to my testosterone levels, negative or positive, with the use of lion's mane. My favorite form of lion's mane that I've been using for several years now is the lion's mane 8-to-1 dual extract from Nootropics Depot. When I initially started taking lion's mane, I felt it working, though I was using a different brand. I could tell my mood was a lot better, but really when I started taking the 8-to-1 dual extract, I could feel all of the benefits pronounced. And I've also found through this channel that individuals try a different form of lion's mane, they don't really see the results, but then they try the dual extract and they definitely feel it. For me, I personally felt all forms working, but nothing really compares to the 8-to-1. When looking at some of the differences between the 1-to-1 and the 8-to-1, it's been said that the 8-to-1 has a lot more cognition enhancing effects than the regular lion's mane, while losing out on some of its immune and general health effects. Meaning the 1-to-1 could be better if you're using it for the health purposes. The 8-to-1 would be more noticeable if you're like me, using it for increased productivity. How to take lion's mane mushroom? First, start off by just taking one serving a day. You'll typically find the serving size going to be between 300 to 500 milligrams. Capsules are typically going to be 500 milligrams per serving. That's the case with this particular lion's mane. Doesn't really matter when during the day you're going to take it. It's always a good practice just to start off slow with one capsule a day. Make sure that you respond positively to it. I would personally take it in the first half of the day because something interesting happens when you start taking lion's mane. The effects are somewhat long-term, yet at the same time there's acute effects too. Like when I first started taking lion's mane, after after not ingesting it whatsoever prior, I really noticed the mood benefit. And then after a few days of using it, I didn't really get that acute mood boost anymore, but I could feel like it pretty much working all day. And then if you're comfortable with it, you can raise the dosage to 2 times a day. That's how I'm typically taking lion's mane. I'm taking 500 milligrams twice a day. I'm personally taking it once in the morning and then once in the late afternoon, something like 3 o'clock p.m. But I've also gone through periods when I took 300 milligrams 3 times a day. That was also good. So I always kind of aim to have about 1 gram per day. And there's a lot of people that say that lion's mane changed their life. They're in a much better mood. They're feeling more positive. They're seeing a more optimistic version of themselves and their future. And I definitely believe that's true. But I think that maybe 10 to 20% of people really feel that experience. The rest of the individuals don't notice it as much, but we definitely notice the mood boost. And there's really no benefit, in my opinion, of exceeding 1 gram per day. I've seen some nootropic blends out there having serving sizes of like 2-3 grams of lion's mane. I don't see any necessary benefit, but you can also consume lion's mane, believe it or not, just by consuming the mushroom. Make sure if you are to do that, you get it from a safe source. But as far as interactions are concerned, I've not really found any negative experience using lion's mane along with other nootropics. There's other mushroom nootropics out there. Some really popular ones include cordyceps or maitake. And I've tried some of these mushroom complexes thinking maybe there's a chance they can make lion's mane work even better, but that really didn't happen. I haven't found like there's another nootropic that you would add onto lion's mane to make lion's mane more noticeable. So it really doesn't matter when during the day you use lion's mane mushroom. I personally don't like using it before bed, as I just don't like nootropics in general before bed. I think a good practice is to use lion's mane before the most intense work period of your day. With respect to using this nootropic and taking time off of it, it's not as important as you may believe. I don't know anyone that's using lion's mane like every other day. It's not a nootropic supplement where it really makes much sense to use like 2 or 3 times a day. I would much rather take it like 3 weeks straight followed by a 1 week break, but I actually prefer something called macrocycling, where I take it every single day for a long period, something like 2 months on, and then I take a little bit of a break, like 2 weeks off. So that personally works for me. With some other nootropics out there, you can get away with taking it, say, 5 days on, 2 days off, but I don't really recommend it because for a lot of individuals, they notice lion's mane working in full effect after 7 to 10 days. Be a bit patient with lion's mane. If it's not working, you can always consider getting it from a different source. The most common side effect with lion's mane consumption is demotivation. Don't expect if you're at work and you're avoiding the highest priority task. It's very easy to be distractible, want to socialize a little bit, and so people have found that they're looking for a nootropic to boost motivation, but lion's mane actually does the opposite. If you're somebody that already has a very strong work ethic and that you're just kind of wired that way like myself, then you're not to be concerned. But anyone else using lion's mane, I would encourage you to be especially mindful of this and consider using lion's mane mushroom along with another nootropic which is going to boost motivation. The second most common side effect is a loss of libido. I don't necessarily mean decreased testosterone, and we don't have any blood work showing that lion's mane could do that. However, I mean loss of libido and interest. And then there's going to be some of the lesser common side effects, things like rashes, things like allergic reactions, and also disturbances to sleep. However, some people actually like what it does to their sleep and that they experience very vivid dreams when they're consuming lion's mane mushroom. Some people don't like that, but it's something to look out for. What are your thoughts about lion's mane mushroom as a nootropic supplement? Put it in the comments section below. Subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. And if you want to speak with me one-on-one, you can do so over on Patreon, or you can send me a direct message on Instagram. Don't forget to visit our Discord server, which has a 24/7 chat room. And I thank you for your interest in nootropics and look forward to seeing you next time.